Alright. We're gonna hope that there's not like ads completely destroying the Twitch stream experience. There shouldn't be. It's weird because it says that there's pre-roll on, but I specifically did not want pre-roll on. But yes, welcome on in, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How are we doing on this fine Saturday, afternoon now? Morning, afternoon. Just that time of day, We'll just call it noon. It's close enough. Doing good? That's good, that's good. I know I woke up a little bit earlier than I usually do, and then I actually watched the last little bit of stuff that I needed to prepare for today. I watched like the last OVA that I hadn't watched yet, but now, you know what? Now I've seen all of the Dragon Ball media things that matter, and by that I mean I haven't seen GT or Super, but I've seen the rest of it now. So, and I've got thoughts. I have opinions on a lot of it. So I just want to jump right into it. We're hoping that... Oh, I think... Alright, Twitch just got hit with an ad, so we're actually not going to jump right into it. Yes. Hi, Kia. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to wait for the ads to finish, because I can see... Okay, so I see how the whole pre-roll thing works now. So pre-rolls happen at the start of the stream until a certain time, and then they get fully disabled. I see how this works now. Honestly, music is loud again? My goodness, this music keeps trying to kill you guys. I know it's a little bit more like high energy music than I usually do, but I wanted to listen to some Dragon Ball music in the background, I thought that was most appropriate. Haru, thank you for coming on and saying balls. Very, very like great contribution to the conversation. Alright. So, maybe we'll start. What tier list or anything do you guys think I should do first? Oh, now Haru, I see you joining on into Annie Live. Welcome, welcome. So I know today we're doing a lot of tier lists and a lot of just thoughts here everywhere. Okay, so here, I'll go over what I have seen. I watched the original Dragon Ball. I watched, not Dragon Ball Z, but I watched Dragon Ball Z Kai. So I watched that in its entirety, including the final chapters, or whatever it's called. Then I watched all of the movies and all of the OVAs. And the movies that I've seen do include the Super and GT movies. They do not include the original Dragon Ball movies, though, because those are just retellings of the Dragon Ball show, and so I didn't really want to watch them. But that kind of gives you an idea of what I've seen. And then actually, I did not watch Dragon Ball until very recently, and that includes Z. So I remember my exposure to Dragon Ball Z whenever I was, a much younger detective was that I had the Cooler's Revenge movie on a VHS or whatever. And I watched the hell out of that thing just over and over again whenever I was younger. So that to me was just Dragon Ball Z for a long time. And then I remember playing some of the games, getting into some of the games. I watched a couple of episodes when they were on TV. Yeah, it's I hadn't actually seen the whole thing until pretty recently. I had been exposed to Yulin. Welcome on in, welcome, welcome. I'd been exposed to a lot of the games, like Dragon Ball, Raging Blast 2, and then Xenoverse 2, Fighters. Just over time got more and more exposed. But then one of my roommates is a really, really big Dragon Ball fan, and we sat down and we watched the entirety of Dragon Ball and all of DBZ Kai and all the movies and all the OVAs, and I've seen it all now. And you know what? I'll admit, I understand the popularity. It's like it's a very common like, or like rather it feels very shonen, like very shonen, but I don't think any like you can tell that all shonens are an imitation of Dragon Ball in my opinion, because like this is just like the most shonen of shonens and it makes it work because you can tell that it's not trying to be something else. This is its identity and it really rocks it in my opinion. How many times did he die? I assume you mean Goku. Let's see how many times Goku died. He died at the beginning of Z to Raditz. He died whenever he was sacrificing himself for like to destroy Cell. I think that's it. I think Goku only dies twice. It's just he spends a lot of times almost dead, or he spends a lot of time actually dead. Technically in Super once too. Well, I mean, see, that just shows you I haven't seen Super. Actually, he died exactly once in Super. Oh, I see, I see. See, but that doesn't matter because it's Dragon Ball Super, so we're gonna forget about it. So, yes, now that I've actually seen all of it, here, I'm gonna actually switch over the screen on... What? Oh, we're on Twitch. Whoa, we've got tier list maker. Oh my goodness. Yep, that's right. We're doing tier lists today. Oh yeah, hold on. I'll find I just want like something for all characters. Hold on. Which one of these? Here, all Dragon Ball characters. This is 580 people on it. Why? Why have that many people? Maybe no, we'll click on this one that's got maybe 180 characters. Oh, is this including like different forms of people? Yeah, looks like it. No, we want like OG Dragon Ball 2 though. Maybe we know it's got some OG Dragon Ball. Alright. So I want to just go over these pictures are awful though. I can like barely tell. Hold on, nope. We're not using this one because the pictures are awful. Let's see. I'm just looking. I probably should have found some good tier lists in advance, let's be honest. Know nothing about DBZ, teach me? I got you. I got you. Here, where's a good one with characters? Does this have good pictures? Yeah, this one has good pictures. So we'll use this one. Now keep in mind, what did I get into then? Well, there's a few characters you can see. And this is a very good roster of characters, I can already tell. But it's kind of like all over the place as to like who all these people are, and I will not remember like most of their names. Why is Goku all the way down here? Okay. It's fine. KDV, welcome on in, welcome. Because first thing I want to do is talk about, you know, the characters. So, can you zoom the screen a little? The images are very tiny. What is that you do it? Like this? Ah, there we go. There we go. Oh, we've got a lot of characters to talk about, obviously. So, let's start where I think the most natural place to start is Goku. So, you know, in OG Dragon Ball, Goku's, you know, teen Goku. And he's, you know, he's fun. He's kind of like animalistic. You can tell that he, like, lived in the wild. So, a lot of his character kind of feels like a bit, though. It's like, oh, I am, like, really wild and don't know what's going on, but I'm really strong. They play that for laughs. Which, I mean, it works. It gets a lot more serious. And this is just my take on Dragon Ball in general. I don't like the start of Dragon Ball. So there's like the Emperor Pilaf saga, and then there's what like the first of the World Martial Arts tournaments. It's like whatever. Like you're going through all of it. It gets really good all of a sudden once you get to the Tien Shinhan saga in OG Dragon Ball. Tien, actually, where is Tien? We're gonna put him on here first. With this alphabetical order. So he's somewhere on here. I'm gonna let you know now. Tien, S tier character. He just is. But they just don't do anything with him in Z or like past OG Dragon Ball, which sucks. Because in OG Dragon Ball, he is the GOAT. He is so good in OG Dragon Ball. And his arc is, I think, one of the turning points, or rather, it's like, it sets up a tone shift, but it's not the turning point of the show. And then getting into the King Piccolo saga right after that, that's where things start to get really, really serious. And that's when I think Goku is at his best, actually, is during those arcs. Because the problem with Goku is that then after that, in Z, he spends a lot of his time dead or healing. I feel like the general flow of every single arc in Dragon Ball Z, never seen an episode of Dragon Ball? Well, you know what? I'm gonna educate you all so much today. So, the general flow of the arcs in Dragon Ball Z are that, let's see, it's bad guy shows up, Goku's out of commission, he's either dead or he is recovering from something unexpected that happened, whether it be a heart virus that randomly takes him out, or whether he's like was out of commission after fighting Vegeta, now everybody else has to go to Namek or whatever. Or even like in the Namek saga, it does it really, really badly because the main characters there aren't even really Goku. It's like Gohan, Krillin, and Vegeta, and they're on Namek doing a bunch of stuff. Well, Goku is healing, and then he gets healed, and Goku has to fly to Namek over like 7 days. And so the people in Namek are all doing their own thing for those 7 days. And then whenever the things are at their worst and they're looking really bleak and everybody's defeated, Goku shows up, beats all of them, but then during that, gets out of commission again, and then they stuff him in a healing pod, and then once again, the little trio of people, they're like doing their own thing again, and then whenever things get really dire, Goku shows up again. It's like, no joke, a lot of Dragon Ball Z is just waiting for Goku to arrive on the scene, and then Goku shows up and wins. And it's like, the show is at its best whenever Goku is not the main character. And actually, when we get into the movies, I got a specific movie in mind where I think it would be infinitely better if Goku were not in the movie. In fact, if it just weren't even a Dragon Ball movie, but we'll get there when we get there. But Goku, C tier. He's just, I'm not even counting like Dragon Ball Super version of Goku where he's like just playing like dumb and is only obsessed with fighting. No, we are talking like actual main Goku. He's got his moments and he knows like when to step up when he needs to. But for the most part, he's kind of bland. Well, I just get the Twitch note. Anyways, hot. Ah, that's kind of weird if you only just now got it. But yes, hello. Welcome on in. Oh, and then Mr. Lantern, welcome on into any live chat. Right now, we are starting up our character tier list, and there's a lot of characters, so we're going to fly through these now. Okay, so we're going to just go down the list here. We're going to create a new tier at a row below. And this is going to be called Who? Because not even I can remember everyone. Oh wow, we got someone with the, what is that? Is that Omega Shinron or Sin Shinron profile picture? But welcome on in, welcome. How am I? I'm doing pretty well actually. You know, enjoying my nice Saturday afternoon. All right. So to start our tier list, we've got, as I said, Tien and S tier, obviously. Goku and C tier. So let's just start going through this. This is starting with Ader. Basically, he's an android. He's, you know, Frankenstein's monster. He was fine. He's like C tier. He's likable, I guess. Who? This girl shows up for like one episode, and then she's pretty funny, actually. Put her in B tier. Why not? Arale. I don't know enough about Arale. Fortune teller Baba. Meh. Okay, Babidi. That's cool. I was on live right now on Twitch. Ah, gotcha. That's awesome. What were you doing over on Twitch? Okay, so Babidi. this character, he is one of the main antagonists of the Boo Saga. I'm not gonna describe what I think he looks like. I think you guys can all infer. You're playing Warzone. Ah, gotcha, gotcha. No, I've got a lot of friends who play that. I'm not really an FPS person myself. But yes, so Bobbity. You know, maybe I do describe how I think Bobbity looks. You see this man right here? Apex, yes, we'll play Apex. Don't worry, Hadu. Don't worry. That's one of the few FPSs I'm willing to try out. I'm gonna be real with what I think Bobbity looks like. I think he looks like a no, I can't. I might get in actual trouble if I say it. So like management will bonk me probably. Anyways, Bobbity is really, really annoying, and I hate him, and we're gonna put him in F tier. This who? Oh, this guy. Ugh. Okay, so this guy, he's in OG Dragon Ball. I don't remember his name. So, he's a guy who shows up and fights Krillin. Blue one is Baby? Ah, see? I didn't know that's what, like, Baby's main form looked like. Ha! So... this guy in OG Dragon Ball, his whole, like, fighting style is that he, like, farts on people and smells bad. And it's just kind of gross, and we don't like that. It was, why am I not remembering? Oh, this mummy guy was from the Fortune Teller Baba arc. You know what? We're just, if a character doesn't matter, we're not gonna put them on here. That's what I've decided. Even if I know who they are, if they're not interesting to have on the list, I'm not gonna put them on the tier list. But now we've got an actual character, and that's Bardock. Bardock is awesome. I'm gonna be real with you guys. So if you don't know, this is Goku's father. He was technically not canon for a while. He ate or does matter. Nah, dude. Nah, whatever. No, we want like the actual characters with some kind of presence. And Ader, you know what? No, he's got presence in OG Dragon Ball. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Okay, so Bardock is Goku's father. He was technically non-canon for a while, but then he was made canon like Toriyama, which by the way, rest in peace Akira Toriyama, you legend. So he liked Bardock so much that he said, oh yeah, that's canon now. But then later in a movie, in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, they made Bardock like actually canon. And so, but then, like, that canon kind of contradicts, like, the old thing that Toriyama said was canon. So it's like, it's just kind of a messy thing. But point is that Bardock is Goku's father, and it depends on which version of Bardock we're talking about. If it's the OG Bardock, the one that Toriyama liked so much that he made canon, I really like him because he's... So the Saiyans, right? That's Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Goten, all of them, they are... the same race of people. They are Saiyans, and they are like a warrior race, and they are naturally incredibly vicious, violent like people. They go and conquer planets and sell them like on the galactic market. That's what Saiyans do. And I like OG Bardock because you can buy the fact that he's not a good guy, the fact that he is one of those people, but he's also got like a certain sense of maturity and wisdom to him. And I don't know, I think it's really, really great because he's like still this like really brooding, vicious individual, but like he's also got like a high amount of emotional maturity, and like you can tell that he's capable of empathy, but it's hidden under the surface, and I don't even think he knows about it. I don't know, I really like that take on Bardock. And then the new version of Bardock is a lot more like naturally heroic and much more of a good person. And I don't know, I just didn't think that take was as interesting for him. Like, OG Bardock literally only sees his son once. Like, he doesn't... And he's like, oh, so that's my son. But then they make a much, much bigger deal out of, like, Bardock being, like, a father in the new version. And I don't know. I like Absent Father Bardock. So I'm gonna put him in A tier, and either he's in B tier or S tier, depending on which version we're talking about. Birder. Birder's a member of the Ginyu Force. He is just fast. He's funny. Fast man. I like him, and he's got a great design. B tier for Birder. Who? Alright, this is a dog. This dog gets killed. So, basically, this dog, it's friends with a pink blob called Boo. Here it is right here, actually. So... And then Boo's like, oh, I've learned to not hate humanity, and I'm gonna be great. I'm not gonna kill people anymore. And then somebody comes up and shoots his dog. I'm not lying. So I'm gonna put the dog in, I don't know, C tier. He's kind of cute, I guess. Beerus, S tier. Okay. Whoever decided to make the god of destruction in the Dragon Ball universe a Sphinx cat who likes napping all the time and just like eats and naps. He acts like a cat. He just eats and naps, and that's all he does. But then, peak character design, and the voice acting is, so good. So we love Beerus. I think if I could choose to be a Dragon Ball character, I'd want to be Beerus. Anyways, who? Oh, we've got Trunks' mom. What is your name? I don't even remember anymore. Or not Trunks, Bulma. Why'd I say Trunks? This is Trunks' grandmother. All I'm gonna say is, she kinda bad though. We're gonna put her in B tier. Okay, we're gonna save this one for later. I'm gonna talk about this one later. This one is Bio Broly. There's a very specific reason why we need. Wait, is this just supposed to be? Okay, yeah, no, this is Bio Broly, but then Broly is separate. Good. So Goku Black, I'm just gonna put him in Who because I haven't seen Super and feel like I couldn't properly judge him. Good design though. BoJack. Okay, so one of the movies is called BoJack Unbound, and it's a very, very popular movie in the community. A lot of people love it. I did not like it at all. I thought that it was just so poorly paced. I felt like, the action was good, and the action was like the best part of it, but like everything about it is just nonsensical with like, and we're gonna get into a movie rant later. I've got a long rant to talk about with the movies later, but BoJack, I mean, he's got a good design and the action's good. So if you just want to turn your brain off, that's fine. And in fact, I think that there are some characters in some movies that are made to be, like, they're really good because they know exactly what they're trying to be. And that involves turning your brain off and just letting that cool action, pretty colors go off. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll let this be my Cocomelon. I'll just like get hypnotized by the screen. But problem is that the pacing and the story to me are so bad that it takes me out of it. It's like hard to like forget about it being there, you know? So just I can't do it. And so it's like BoJack as a character, phenomenal design. His movie sucks. So for BoJack himself, I do really like him. As like just design wise, especially because there's a little problem with the movies. A big problem with the movies. I cannot stand this. Is the fact that basically all of the movies, their antagonists are just derivatives of like mainline canon. They are related in some way. They very, very rarely have original ideas, and it bothers me so much. And so that's the good thing about BoJack, is the fact that he's actually like an original concept, because he's like a space pirate who's trapped in a planet that when the planet was destroyed, he was released, and now he's got his gang and they're doing piratey things. It's like, that's way more unique than say, oh, I am another Saiyan who literally looks exactly like Goku, but I'm slightly desaturated, so you know I'm evil, and now we're gonna fight. Or, oh, I am the exact same race as, I'm the brother of that one guy, and we look similar, except I'm infinitely cooler, and his name is Cooler, by the way. He's literally cooler than his brother. And yeah, I'm going to fight you now because brotherly stuff. I don't know. It's like, it's just the main line. Or how many movies even have androids? Just point is, I hate it. I hate that. And BoJack at least gets a pass because he's unique. This guy, he's a guy from original Dragon Ball. He dies, and that was cool. I remember liking him. B tier. Who? What, this is Bula, I think? This is Bulma's daughter. I haven't seen GT, so I can't talk about it. Or Brienne. Okay. We've gotten to Broly. So, Broly, originally there was a Dragon Ball Z movie which featured the character Broly. And it was awesome. A very, very good movie. Which we are doing a movie tier list after this, by the way. And then, though the thing is that basically none of the movies are canon. But this is another situation where Toriyama really, really liked Broly and said, I want him to be canon. And so they later went and released a new Broly movie, which made Broly canon. And there are, some similarities, some differences. And so I think this is going to be a good chance to compare and contrast some of their differences as a character. We can talk about the differences in the movies later. But okay. So first of all, OG Broly. That's this one on the right for people on Twitch who can see it. And we're actually going to do all three of these ones now because we'll get to this one. So this version of Broly, the original Broly, is badass. Dude, he is so cool. His design might be one of, if not the best out of all the movie villains. And that is high praise from me because I love a lot of the movie villain designs. But this, oh, dude, it's just so peak. And the way he fights, a lot of the Dragon Ball characters and Dragon Ball villains, it's a lot of ki blasts and it's a lot of very flashy moves. The thing I like about Broly is that he is the definitive beat down, rush down fighter within Dragon Ball. He literally just gets up in your face and beats the hell out of you. And well, he also does a lot of grappling too. He very much just goes, he'll just rip you in half. Oh, I love watching him fight on screen because he's just so vicious. It's just so unique. Whenever I'm thinking of oh, Vegeta or Goku fighting, I'm thinking, oh, they got their Kamehameha or, Gallic Gun. Maybe I'm thinking of Piccolo doing a special beam cannon. Whenever I'm thinking of Broly fighting, I'm just thinking about him beating the hell out of people. And that makes him very based, easy S tier. And then the new version of Broly, here's the thing. With this new movie, I would say that they made him a more interesting character, but he's not as fun of a character, if that makes sense. He also doesn't have as cool of a design. It's still good, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think it shines as much. Do I want to put him in A or S? Because he's still phenomenal. We still love Broly. I think we go A tier just to make a difference. Which also makes me think BoJack's gonna go down to B tier. And I'm gonna move some people down. Yeah, actually this is fine. There's no D tiers at the moment. Alright, and now we get to this one. You might be wondering, who's this, like, slime goosebumps looking fellow? Well, Broly is such a good villain that even before they made the new version, like the canon movie, he got 3 whole movies to himself. So there is the one that's just Broly, then there's Broly Second Coming, and then there's a third one called Bio Broly. And in Bio Broly, it's a awful, nonsensical nightmare of a film. And Broly is once again the main villain, but it's like not even the same Broly. It's a scientist who like saw a drop of blood of Broly's from a previous fight, and he like scooped up the drop of blood and then recreated him in a lab. And then for some reason this guy knows all of like the deep lore. It's like, oh, and he'll become a Super Saiyan, but like nobody knows what Super Saiyans are or anything, and this is just a random guy. And like, and it's not like a, oh, maybe he was always in there in the background. No, because he is a character in Broly Second Coming, and he's just like the local like shaman of a village or something, and like he's just literally a nobody. He's like he's a hick from the boonies, you know? And now all of a sudden he knows all of this really, really crazy lore. And then this version of Broly doesn't have a character, and his design is just infinitely awful, like worse than his others, because it's literally just a slime monster with some hair pointing out in the back. It just sucks. It's really, really bad. Anyways, now we've got Bubbles. Bubbles is pretty based, not even gonna lie. A tier character. Bubbles is funny. Bulma, it depends on what version of Bulma we're talking about, but it looks like we're just talking about Bulma in general. I'm gonna go ahead, put Bulma. Also, we are not doing all these characters. I'm gonna let you know that now. But where do we want to put Bulma? Like, she goes between being annoying and being funny. I think B tier is a good solid place for her. So it just kind of depends. Boo. Okay, do we have the other Boos on here? Are the other Boos separate? Let's see. Kid Boo's on here separately. Is Super Boo on here separately? Yes, okay. So Majin Buu specifically. Majin Buu, you know, he starts off as one of the main antagonists of an arc, but then a whole bunch of stuff happens where basically his good and his evil halves are separated. And so this is his good half that we're seeing right here. And at first I didn't like him. I thought he was just kind of annoying or whatever. But he, like, the Buu arc really grew on me. I think it's one of my favorites now, like in the entirety of the franchise. And Buu is responsible for a lot of that. Easy A tier character. This guy, he's a minor villain from Dragon Ball, who cares? Super Android 18, he's really funny. That one time he says, "Don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut." And I thought that was pretty funny, so he gets to go into A tier. And then, we don't care about the other villains here. Android 16. Android 16, I think, is a phenomenal character that did... His addition really, really helps the Cell Saga. I mean, he literally is the one who becomes the catalyst for Gohan transforming into Super Saiyan 2. But then also, like, I like the fact that he serves as both of the extremes of the androids and what we see from them. We see that they are capable of being good and, like, enjoying life, while also being capable of, like, pure, like, vengeance in their heart. So Android 16, it's like he's dead set on vengeance against Goku because that's what he's programmed to do, and yet he also comes to appreciate life and nature. And so whenever we're not seeing that, like, oh, I must eradicate Goku, he is one of the most, like, sweet and, like, kind-hearted people in the entire show. Like, it's an interesting contrast that I'm sure wasn't intentional to show us how, like, to kind of let us into the inner workings of the androids. And I think that he's really awesome. We're gonna put him in S tier. So now we're on Android 17, 18. Android 17, he's actually, you know what? All S tier. All S tier, especially 18. But for reasons. They're just fun. They're just a joy on screen. I love them. They're especially, you know, I've seen their dynamic. It's like turning everything into a game and I don't know. It just, they've got that strong sibling like connection going on. Anyways, we're not gonna care about Android 19, Android 21. I feel like I'm not allowed to judge Android 21. Anyways, yeah, we're not gonna talk about what just happened on Twitch. So we're gonna skip over. Actually, let's just get rid of all the characters who we're not judging. So we're gonna be here for a little bit. Why not? We'll rate Devilman. No, there's so many characters. Oh my goodness. And I hate that I know so many of these characters. Who's that nerd? We'll rate Farmwood Shotgun, why not? General Blue? Yeah, we'll rate General Blue. Wait, wait, is that... No, that's Goten. I was about to say, is that Kid Goku on his own? It's not. Dang it. I got excited. Wait, so why is Goten on here twice, I wonder? You play Dragon Ball Legends? I've heard of it, but I actually do not play it. Let's see, I'm just... Oh, yeah, it's a little guy from GT. I was like, who's that? Why are there so many characters in this show? Oh my goodness, we're gonna spin a while. We won't rate him. It doesn't matter. King Furry. By the way, that is the like king of the world. Apparently, his name is King Furry. Just need to let you guys know that. See, I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna rate her. Actually, no, I won't rate her. But just know that if I were rating her, I'd rate her high because she's cute. That's all. That's my PSA for the day. Here, we're gonna just... Oh, wait, no. I'm like, who is this? Ha! Launch. My goodness. It's okay. We're slowly getting rid of all of them. Ew, what is that design? Oh my goodness. We're just clicking through these. You play it, it's fun. Because it's specifically a mobile game, right? I'm not really a mobile gamer anymore. I used to play like Fire Emblem Heroes and that was it. Let's see. We're slowly getting all these characters off the tier list. Don't know exactly who that's supposed to be, so we're gonna take them off. Oh, wait, they separated the trunks? Good. Did I skip a row? I did. Let's see. We don't want GT characters on here. My goodness. Alright. Who cares about Zangia? Yeah, we'll raid everyone there. Okay, so this is who all we have to raid. Oh my goodness. And so now we're gonna have to scroll past this every single time. Speedrun. Alright. Ready? Perfect Cell? Easy S tier. Perfect Cell. I mean, he's perfect. Come on. It's literally in the name. No, he's... I love Perfect Cell. He's one of... he's one of my favorite villains in the entire show. Chilai, also an S tier because, so, we're not going to talk about it. Chiaotzu, I thought it was really funny when he died a whole bunch of times. D tier. Chi-Chi, I think you're seeing a connection with my some of my S tiers. No further comments. What is this guy's name? Chilled? Chilled kinda sucks. He's just like weird. Like, the best way I can describe Chilled, it's like if you combined Vector from Despicable Me with like the worst form of Frieza. Oh, we're gonna pronounce his name Essia. Welcome on in. Welcome. So, his design and everything just kind of suck. F tier. Is this Commander Red? Yes. Which, by the way, Essia, right now we are making a little tier list. I'm just going through all the Dragon Ball characters, and then I'm gonna go on rants in just a moment. Oh, I cannot wait. As soon as we get through all these characters, so we're speedrunning this. Commander Red, he's fine, I guess. This, I don't know. C tier. I'm gonna move Goku up to B, I've decided. Cooler. Cooler is the best design. Fight me. I don't care if he's bland. I don't care if he's not really got not much going on. His design is so good that it makes up for it. We're gonna put him up here with the goats. Dabura. He's just kind of boring. He never seems intimidating, and he's introduced in one of the worst ways because the pacing is just so awful, and it just kind of like harms how much I like his character. D tier. Dende, Dende doesn't really have much of a presence. I forget he exists. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. Dende is here, I guess. Like solid C tier. Devilman. Would you be disappointed if I say I've never watched Dragon Ball? I think there's only like one other person here who's watched it, and that's, you know, totally alright. And that's including like Twitch and AnyLive chat, by the way. Out of all of them, I think only one person has seen Dragon Ball. So this rant I'm about to go on, it's gonna be like just for me, but that's alright. Yeah, someone Twitch that says join the class. We are learning from the teacher. When did Dragon Ball come out? Oh, when did the original Dragon Ball come out? No, it's good. It's good. What? Dawn, since you seem to know a lot, do you know when the original Dragon Ball came out? Also, Devilman. Okay, so this guy, I really like his one little fight that he's in, because he's got a really, really busted ability, despite being somebody who shows up really early on into the franchise. And that's if you have any negative thoughts, then he can instantly kill you. Just like, he just insta beats anybody who has a single negative thought. And he fights Goku, and this is Kid Goku, mind you. And he loses because Kid Goku is so no thoughts head empty that he doesn't have any thoughts, let alone negative thoughts. And Goku wins. And I think that's hilarious. And that scene is funny enough that he gets in B tier. Zinroku, welcome back. Welcome. Well, yeah, so when did Dragon Ball come out? The answer we now know is 1984. So, you know, it's been a little bit. It's been, 40 years? Let's see. Dodoria. Where do we want to put Dodoria on the tier list? We'll go ahead. This big pink ball of spikes. He's whatever. He's fine to have on screen. C tier. This guy, who even cares? E tier. Dr. Gero. My problem with Dr. Gero is that he keeps coming back in different ways. Even if it's not him exactly, it's like... Okay, so here's my biggest problem with Dr. Gero. He is a member of an organization known as the Red Ribbon Army. This is somebody, like, it's a group that Goku fights in OG Dragon Ball. So it's like, you know, one of the first, like, arcs in the entire show. And Dr. Gero, is a scientist for the Red Ribbon Army. He does not show up, nor is he ever mentioned in the entirety of OG Dragon Ball. And then, like, halfway through Dragon Ball Z, when we're starting one of the new arcs, it's like, oh, well, actually, the evil Dr. Gero from the Red Ribbon Army, he's still alive. He lived after all. And it's like, who? You're gaslighting us into thinking that this character was, like, a thing, and like that this character's returning, but he's just a guy we're just now meeting. And then, ever since then, him and his creations, like, he's the one who created the androids, they just keep coming back. Even the newest Dragon Ball movie is heavily influenced by Dr. Gero, somebody who the show insists existed from the beginning, but never showed until halfway through Z. Never even mentioned. It's like, you can't gaslight me. Dr. Gero doesn't exist. Just because of that, I find it annoying. I find him frustrating. He goes in E tier. Next up, I don't remember this guy, but he's gross and bad and is involved with one of the most boring movies in all of Dragon Ball history. I will talk more about that at a later time. You'll learn about this guy, Dr. Wheelo is this robot's name. And I don't even want to put them in F tier because these are, like, at least I can laugh about how bad they are. I'm just going to put them in E tier just because it's like, and I'm going to move Dr. Gero one up. Because it's just like, they're boring. And you'll learn why later. Oh, we're on Elder Kai. This stupid guy. This guy and where's Supreme Kai? We're going to make these two together. These two were probably the worst part about the Buu Saga. I hated them. Ah, Kito, yes, welcome on in, welcome. No, so Supreme Kai and Elder Kai are insufferably annoying to me. I hate them. Whoever was directing the voice acting for them should get fired. Ooh. And so this guy, the Supreme Kai, we are led to believe that he's supposed to be super, like, strong and intimidating. What am I talking about? I'm currently making a tier list for a bunch of Dragon Ball characters. So the problem with Supreme Kai is that they make him out to be a really smart, like, strong individual. So strong, in fact, that whenever we first meet him, he literally stares down at Piccolo. They're about to, like, fight in a tournament or whatever, and Piccolo stands down out of fear. And he forfeits before the match even begins out of fear. That's Piccolo. Like, one of the most badass characters in the show. He's stoic, stubborn, never, like, stands down. And he was so scared that he forfeited the match. And that is the only time you have to be joking. Oh, what's Dragon Ball? You don't know Dragon Ball? Like Dragon Ball Z? You know Goku? Come on. Itsuo. Oh. You might be one of the only people in existence who doesn't know what Dragon Ball is. You only know Goku too, but at least you know Goku, right? Yeah, Super Saiyan. You only know Goku from memes. I mean, even still, that's like, his influence over pop culture is immeasurable. I know the hairless purple cat. That's it. Oh, so you know Beerus, but you don't know Goku? What? That's wild to me. It's only one of the most successful franchises of all time. Alright, so... Oh yeah, with Supreme Kai. So, what was I saying on him? Right. Basically, the rest of the Buu saga, where, you know, that's where he's introduced and where he has a big presence, is him going, oh, I can't believe this is happening. What? And it's just him being, like, really confused and bewildered constantly. And so people will joke about how in, like, shows, there'll be, like, that one character off to the side, and he'll just, like, commentate everything that's happening and be, like, completely stunned at every little thing. This is that trope to its extreme. So, both him and Elder Kai, because Elder Kai is just, like, annoying and disgusting, we're gonna put them both in F tier. Is King Yama, I don't know, he's just funny at times. B tier, Erasa, whatever. I actually, you know what, I liked her, B tier as well. Evil Boo, who cares? A tier. I thought that was a good concept. Farmer with Shotgun, easy S tier. I mean, come on. Okay, we're on Frieza. Kui Pigs, welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so Frieza's like one of the Dragon Ball villains, right? Very, very iconic. And I mean, come on, the voice acting and the moves and the design, he's just so cool. But he's also just like, not super interesting compared to some other characters, and I also think that he's definitely overstayed his welcome with everything that's happening in Super. Like, just let the man rest, let him be in hell. You know, like, if there's anybody who deserves to be considered chaotic evil within all of Dragon Ball, it would have to be Frieza, because he's just, oh, I'm evil and I blow planets up. The most interesting thing about Frieza is the angel. So you know Whis as well. So the most interesting thing about Frieza is the fact that he genocided the Saiyans and destroyed their planet out of fear, because he learned of the tale of the legendary Super Saiyan, and he ends up, like, you know, taking proactive measure to, like, you know, destroy the Saiyans. And it's like, oh, that's cool, I suppose. It shows that he's more than just somebody who goes around conquering the universe and trying to obtain immortality. But that's what he does for most of the time, and it's just kind of boring. But he's still peaked because of his design. And, oh, he does get points taken off, though, for being involved in the longest fight in all of anime ever. And, like, that's just... No. Why? It's awful. Even the short version, mind you, the short version of the fight lasts 12 episodes. Think about that. Think about it. Let's do a little bit of math, alright? We take a calculator real quick. Let's assume that each episode, you know, 20 minutes long, right? Then that's 12 episodes worth. That is 240 minutes or 4 hours in the short version of the fight. Why? Why? You have some bad news? Oh no, what's up? Long fight? Yeah, well, it's just, ugh. Lost my 5-paragraph progress on my sword because my dumbest. Oh, forgot to save it. No! Oh, it's that. Damn, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. See, I've had stuff happen like that in the past with me. I save so often. Anything I'm working on, I'm constantly saving nowadays. Anyways, I actually don't know exactly who this is, so we're gonna drop him. What? That's Super Mai. I don't feel comfortable rating her. Okay, hold on. What's the difference in these, I wonder, between the different Trunks here? Is that specific? Oh wait, so this one is Future Trunks, GT Trunks, and then... Okay, so that one's GT Trunks. So this is specifically Future Trunks, I think. This, easy S tier. Easy S tier. Up here with the goats. Cell needs to be here with the goats too. Like, Future Trunks is just so badass when he's introduced. Like, if you haven't seen any Dragon Ball Z, I think that one of the coolest scenes to just watch and be introduced to the show would have to be Trunks' introduction to the show, because it's so cool. Dude, he's a badass through and through, and then especially he gets like longer hair and eventually has to like tie it up in a ponytail. Like that look of Future Trunks, oh my goodness. It's peak. Actually peak. Not going on Twitch. I mean, that's totally fine. And then Little Trunks, honestly, still really great character. We're gonna put him in A tier. I just like, he's a really sassy, bratty child. And I like sassy, bratty children. I think they're fun. Garlic Jr., you know what? We're gonna just start going to some other characters. Gohan. Gohan is pretty cool. He's way better than his dad. A tier. Goten is also better than his dad. Also A tier. And actually, Gohan, you get moved up to S. Oh, that's Future Gohan? Is there not Future Gohan here, though? I don't see not Future Gohan. So I think that's... I mean, I guess there's this Gohan. Do you want me to rate this Gohan? Alright, well, we'll put both here then. How about that? That translates to rice? It does! That is the name of Goku's son. Goku named his kid Rice because of course he did. Let's see. This is insufferable. Yamcha. Yamcha's based. C tier. No, I'm joking. He's fine. He's way better in OG Dragon Ball and then falls off really, really hard. If I'm not mistaken, Yamcha wins a single fight in the entire series. No, he wins 2 fights. Yamcha wins 2 fights in the entirety of all of the series. He wins the give me a short summary of Dragon Ball. Okay, here, you know what? I hope you're still ready to take some notes. Here's your short summary of the entirety of Dragon Ball. So, there's a kid who... Well, you're not taking... Well, I'll have you know, other people were saying they're taking notes. I didn't say you have to take notes. I'm just saying to the people who were taking notes. Okay. So, here is my version of Dragon Ball, alright? There's a kid, he wakes up in a pod and an old man finds him and trains him, and the kid's really vicious at first, but then he gets brain damage and becomes a nice person. He grows up on a planet called Earth for a long time, then his grandfather dies and leaves behind a little relic. It's an orange ball called a Dragon Ball. One day there's a blue-haired girl who shows up and says, "Hey, you're a little kid, I want your ball." And the kid's like, "You're not taking my grandpa." And then she says, "Yes, I am, and I want a boyfriend. Anyways, you're coming along with me now, little child." And then they go on a long journey across the world, meet all kinds of wacky, fun characters, and it's super awesome. And they fight like a evil military organization, and they meet friends along the way, including a horny pig. And then after that, then there's a tournament that's going on, and Goku wants to become like the world's greatest at the martial arts tournament, and so he fights, and then he loses, and then one of his really good friends is this bald kid named Krillin gets fucking killed off screen, and then there's aliens now, and then there's the aliens, and they start attacking the planet and killing all the different martial artists because there's this one alien named King Piccolo, and King Piccolo's really, really scared to be put into a rice cooker, and so Goku, being a martial artist, is one of the targets of... Yeah, it's one of the targets of the King Piccolo, and so they they end up fighting, and then Goku's friends die, and then Goku gets really angry and then kills King Piccolo. But then King Piccolo gave birth by spitting out an egg out of his mouth, and then that kid ends up becoming Piccolo, and he joins the World Martial Arts Tournament, and he wants to get revenge on Goku and take over the world. And then they fight, and then Goku spares him after beating him, and then after that, Goku gets married to a little girl who's no longer a little girl, but they met when they were little children, but now they're not little children. They get married, and then they have a kid. The kid's name is Gohan. And then another alien shows up, but it turns out that this is actually Goku's brother, because Goku was an alien the entire time, and says, hey, by the way, I'm taking your son. And Goku says no, and then his brother Raditz says, yes, I am. Anyways, die. And then he doesn't kill Goku. It's actually Piccolo. Piccolo's back, and Piccolo and Goku team up. And then Piccolo kills both of them. And then he says, wow, it's really cool that I just killed my good old pal Goku, who I absolutely hate and still wants to kill and take over the world afterwards. Anyways, I'm going to steal his son now, because we learned that there's going to be these two other scary guys who are about to come over to the planet Earth. And so we need to train, and Gohan is going to be one of our best defenders against the world, this 4-year-old child. And so then Piccolo and Gohan train, all the while Goku is in the afterlife, and he trains, and he learns some really valuable things, and then he gets brought back to life at the same time that... Oh, there's an ad. There's an ad on Twitch. Piccolo gives birth, that's all I understood. That he does. So... Sorry, I got distracted by the fact that I saw that there are ads going on over on Twitch. Sorry, you're missing a bit of the, you think we're all subbed? Yeah, there you go. So, then those two other evil guys, they show up and they kill a bunch of people, including Piccolo. And that's very important, because Piccolo was actually the person who was keeping the Dragon Balls around. As long as Piccolo is dead, it means the Dragon Balls don't work. And so, all of their friends can't be brought back to life with the Dragon Balls, and that's really sad. And these two guys who show up, Nappa and Vegeta, they kill a bunch of people, and they're real evil, but then they eventually lose to Goku. Goku beats Vegeta, kind of. And then, after that... Then Krillin has the idea of, hey, what if we go to another planet that also has Dragon Balls? So we'll get the Dragon Balls from there. So Goku stays behind on Earth because he's still healing, whereas the other people, they go over to the planet Namek, and it turns out that there is a being known as Frieza. He is the Emperor of the Universe, and he's also trying to claim the Dragon Balls on this planet because he wants to gain immortality. And so then there's a big... Oh, but then there's also Vegeta, and Vegeta's still alive, and he was working for Frieza, but he's decided he no longer wants to work for Frieza. So there's a 3-way battle as to who's going to get the Dragon Balls on Namek, and then eventually Vegeta dies, and a lot of people die, and then Goku eventually shows up and then almost dies, and then he's no longer almost dead, and he and Frieza fight, and then Frieza dies, and the planet gets blown up, and Goku's nowhere to be found, but all of his friends got off the planet, thankfully. So then they go over back to Earth, his friends do, and they just kind of hang out for a while, and then they're like, I wonder where Goku is. And then eventually Frieza comes back. Haha, he's not actually dead. He's there with his father, and they're like, we are going to kill the planet now. And then what happens is, instead of Goku showing up to save everybody, it's a different Saiyan. He literally slices Frieza in half, and it's super, super awesome. And then this other guy's like, hi, my name's Trunks, and I'm from the future. And by the way, in 3 years' time, there's gonna be some androids. They show up, and you have to be ready to fight them. And then he gives Goku the antidote for a heart virus, because actually Goku, he got here like right now, and Trunks is like, yeah, actually I know exactly when Goku's gonna get here. It's right here. It's right now. And so then Goku shows up and he's like, here's a cure for your heart virus that you don't know you have yet. Bye. See you in 3 years. And then he fucks off, and then after that 3 years pass, and the androids show up, and then Trunks is back, and then they fight the androids, and then not actually the same androids, and then they fight different androids, and then it turns out there's actually another android, and this android really likes sucking up the other androids, so he sucks up the other androids, and he's like, oh yes, I'm Perfect Cell, and I think this is fantastic how strong I am now. I'm so strong, I want to set up a tournament, and I want to fight all of you. And so then he sets up a little thing called the Cell Games, and they all fight one another, and it's awesome. And then Goku it's like, oh, I think it would be really awesome if instead of fighting this guy, I let my prepubescent child fight him instead. And that works, and then his kid gets angry after watching one of their friends die, and then beats up Cell, but then Cell's about to explode, so then Goku touches Cell real funny, and then they both die, but elsewhere. But then Cell didn't actually die, and he came back, and then Gohan kills Cell for good. And then, like, a long time passes, and then now Gohan is a superhero, and he's going to high school, and there's this arc where he's just like a superhero, and then after that, Gohan's like, I'm gonna join the World Martial Arts Tournament because I'm being blackmailed into it because somebody learned my secret identity as a superhero. And then a bunch of people decided they want to join the World Martial Arts Tournament, including Goku from the afterlife, and they all go to the World Martial Arts Tournament. But then while this is starting, there's evil things going on. There's a conspiracy, and then some people suck up Gohan's power, and then there's a god named Supreme Kai, and he's like, hi, Gohan, you're probably the strongest one here. I'm gonna recruit you and my other friends to kill this guy named Majin Buu who's about to get resurrected. We have to make sure he doesn't get resurrected by the evil wizard Babidi. So then they go over to a spaceship, and then they fight, and then Vegeta is like, this is my one chance to fight Kakarot. I'm going to defeat Goku once and for all. And he ends up letting himself get brain, like mind controlled in order to get more power. Then he and Goku fight, and then Vegeta actually wins and beats Goku. And then their battle actually released Majin Buu. So then Vegeta goes and fights Majin Buu and then dies. And then what? You've got Goku then comes back, and this is so confusing, it really is. So let's see what happens next. A bunch of people die, and then everybody dies, and then Goku and Vegeta team up, and they do a little funny dance, and then they fight. Well, they don't do a dance. They actually wear earrings instead, but other people do a funny dance. So then they wear some earrings, and then that forces them to become the same person, and then they fight Buu, and then they don't kill him, and instead they separate and then kill him. And then they all lived happily ever after, except for the ones who died. We just clipped the VOD at this rate. I do believe that, yeah, the VOD will be up. The VOD will be on YouTube. Yeah, I just covered like 500 to 600 episodes. So yeah, that's the entirety of Dragon Ball summarized. Make it into a YouTube video. That could be fun. Old man poorly explains Dragon Ball. Anyways, what are some other of these characters? What is this? Is this the announcer? The announcer, S-tier character. Krillin's bald and funny and dies sometimes. He's a pretty A-tier character. Where's Beerus in the story? Oh, right. So, that was just explaining Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, because then we have to talk about Dragon Ball Super. So everybody's living happily ever after, except they don't, because then there's a cat who wakes up from a nap. He's like, Whis, I heard a story of a Super Saiyan God, and I want to fight him. And then he goes and asks a bunch of Saiyans, and he's like, where's the Super Saiyan God? And then there's not one. He's like, I'm going to blow up the Earth, actually. And then Goku becomes a Super Saiyan God after a bunch of people hold hands, and then he fights Beerus and then loses, and then Beerus is like, that was good enough, I suppose. And so then the rest of Super happens. I don't know. I don't care. Anyways, is there any other character who's worth putting? I'm bad at explaining. I mean, I've got a lot to explain and not enough time to do it. Piccolo, S tier. I'm gonna ask Google here. No, I'll give you my one sentence summary. Alien man fights aliens. There you go. You know what? This is good enough. Let's talk about the sagas. That's going to be more interesting. Or the movies. I want to talk about the movies specifically. Hold on. Surely there's a tier list for the movies, right? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so let's go through this. I can kind of tell which one is supposed to be which. So where is Dawn? You might have to help me out with this. Because I can't exactly tell which one is which because my eyes are bad. But I'm looking for... I guess we'll start with OG Dragon Ball. Where... Oh, I guess this one would be OG Dragon Ball? Or is this one of the movies? I'm supposed to be cleaning while I'm supposed to for like 30 minutes. I mean, if you want to just have me on in the background, or if you want to go do that. Guessing second row, fifth one is OG Dragon Ball? Okay, that's what I was thinking. So, OG Dragon Ball is... I'd say it's pretty like... like, OG Dragon Ball's good. I think... I don't prefer it to Z. If you give me a headache with Dragon Ball lore. Oh, I'm sorry, but we're about to have more Dragon Ball lore. Actually, I kind of wanted something to drink while I do this. I might go grab... I don't want to, like, do an alcoholic drink right now, though. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I'll drink at 4, but not 2. Here, tell you what. We're going to take a slight intermission. I'm not bringing you on a field trip, unfortunately, not this time. So I will be right back. Nar. Yeah, I'll be right back here. I'll even go to my intermission screen on Twitch. Alright, there we are. We've returned from our violence. No, violence isn't necessary. Niovo, welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. Alright, so... let's talk about some movies, and I am gonna go on some rants and some tangents, and it's gonna be fun. So... yes, OG Dragon Ball, it's kind of bad, actually, until it gets good all of a sudden. Because there's, like, a really big shift with the Tien Shinhan saga. But... no, let's not do that. And then, let's get into... let's see, Dragon Ball Z. I'm gonna guess this one is supposed to be Dragon Ball Z. It's... I mean, Dragon Ball Z, it's good. Hold on. I'm trying to see if, like, there's Kai on here separately. This is probably supposed to be Dead Zone. No, that's World's Strongest. Where's Dead Zone on here? Oh, Kaylee, welcome on in, and thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Here, so we're not gonna rate this. We're not gonna rate any of the OG Dragon Ball movies because I haven't seen them. And we're not gonna rate this. Oh, there's Dead Zone. Oh, and we don't want to read or rate any of the manga stuff either. Wait, so what's the difference between this and this, I wonder? It's fine, we'll figure it out. I can't even tell, like, what is this one, I wonder. Here, I wonder if there's a different tier list that makes these more clear. Let's find it. Let's see. Movies plus TV specials. This one's probably the one to use, right? But those pictures are so bad. Trump's schedule is confusing, concerning. I think my schedule's fine. Like, if I can understand it, you'll figure it out. Let's see, I can understand that's Lord Slug. That's, what, Fusion Reborn, Super Android 13. What, Return of Cooler, Tree of Might. What is this one supposed to be? That one's, Wrath of the Dragon, Hero's Legacy, Bardock, Father of Goku. Yeah. You think this one is World's Strongest? Alright, so what about this one? This one might be Bio Broly, actually, based off of the people on the cover. And then this one's Bojack Unbound. The Poet Despair. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. You're getting distracted? Alright, see you next time, Kitsuo. Thank you for stopping by. That one, the quality of it's so bad. I can't. Oh, that's probably, no, that's Broly Second Coming. Then that's the original Broly. That's okay. I think I can actually see what all these are. So what? This one's Dead Zone. This one is what, the Bardock special. So this isn't the Bardock Father of Goku movie, but this is the other one. Okay. Wait, is there superhero on here? Why am I not seeing superhero? Battle of Gods, Resurrection F. Yeah, this one's Broly. Maybe it's outdated? Yeah, it doesn't have superhero. That's so sad, actually. I was actually getting ready to watch one of your videos or VODs about Audition Boost, so you're live. Oh, well, thank you for, stopping by. You actually watched like 500 episodes of Dragon Ball? That I have. Well, so let's see. The original show is, I think, 180 something episodes, and then I watched Kai, which is like 300 something episodes, and then I watched all of the movies. So like I've seen everything here. And so let's actually talk about them. We're just gonna start with Dead Zone, the original. And this is where we start getting into my big rant about the movies. Basically, none of them can be canon. Like, none of them. And that's because there's so many just small contradictions that exist within the movies that it makes it to where they cannot be canon. Like, why? Why is it like that? Like, I'm sure they could have done something to make it to where they were canon. The problem with Dead Zone, and I will do my best to explain exactly why each movie is not canon. I will not be able to remember all of them. But with this movie, the reason why I say it's not canon is because Krillin, one of Goku's friends, has already met Gohan. And yet, the problem with that is the fact that we see the first time that Krillin and Gohan meet in the show. Moral, welcome on in, welcome. You're joining right at the start of one of my rants. And so, Gohan and Krillin already have met each other in this movie. So, like, oh, the movie must be set after... Yeah, the movie must be set after they meet. But the problem is that the exact same day that Gohan and Krillin meet for the first time, Goku dies. And by the time that Goku is revived, his design no longer... like, Gohan's design no longer reflects how old he would have been, like, at the time of this movie. And so that means this movie, the only time it possibly could have happened, the only time it could have happened is the exact same day that Gohan and Krillin met. Then the movie happens, and then Goku's brother shows up, and then Goku dies. That's it. That is the only explanation. There is like a 1 hour window within the canon. It's like, no. That's... Whatever. Anyways, talk about how good the movie actually is. It's just really boring. I mean, it expands on some lore, like with one of the characters, like kind of the background characters that don't get much lore explanation in OG Dragon Ball. And it's a good special points for being like involved in an era of Dragon Ball that people don't typically think about. It's like that space between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Favorite part is the fighting animation. Yeah, I mean, the animation's alright, but there's definitely a lot better. It's like, it's very much a Dragon Ball movie. It feels like it should come after Dragon Ball, but not like as part of Z, if that makes sense. And so it's like a C tier movie. It's like, it's not the worst, but it's not awful. The main antagonist is basically his design, and literally his voice actor is literally just somebody else. This goes into my other movie rant. So my two rants are that none of them can be canon, and that basically all of the villains from the movies are just so derivative from other characters or parts of the canon. And so this character, it literally just looks like one of the other characters from the show and has the same voice actor. That said, I actually like this take on the character more, but it's just not interesting. Like, come on, dude. Like, it's just not good. Tanjo, welcome back. Welcome. So that's the Dead Zone. Then the second movie is The World's Strongest. And I believe the problem with World's Strongest is the fact that, like, certain characters that just should be alive, or no, I think certain characters that are alive in the movie should not be alive at the time of The World's Strongest. So it's just like that kind of thing. And I think the big characters like Piccolo should not be alive because he died to Vegeta whenever the Saiyans arrived. And which means that if Piccolo's alive, this is a post-Namek world. But then Goku and Gohan do not reflect that at all in their, like, mannerisms or anything. Especially because that would mean that Goku could use Super Saiyan, and he doesn't. Which is, like, really, really weird. Because by the time that Goku, or by the time that everybody who's alive in this movie could be alive, Goku has effortlessly, like, trained to become a Super Saiyan whenever he wants. So, it's just, no. And also the movie, it's just so boring. Like the main antagonist, his name is Dr. Wheelo. And what he's trying to do is he's learned how to yeah, he has learned how to transfer his mind into other bodies. And so he's trying to transfer his mind into Goku's body because it's like really, really strong. So that's the idea there. And it's like, okay, that's fine, I suppose. But they just don't really do like anything and like don't treat him like a threat at all. He just kind of like shows up and is like, your body's gonna be mine now, and then fails and then dies, and that's it. It's like there's nothing of substance, and he's like, usually I can forgive some of these villains because it's just like, oh, it's cool, you know? It's like, yeah, that's badass, like character design or whatever. But Dr. Wheelo is just so forgettable, and the settings and everything, it's like, you'll even see with some of the movies I put later on, I don't care if the characters are uninteresting. As long as there's cool fights, cool character designs, and cool settings, that very well could be enough to get something into even like A tier. But the problem with this movie is that it just doesn't really have any of that. Moving on, we've got... Let's see, I believe it would be Tree of Might next. Tree of Might is a pretty good movie. I'm actually going to get rid of an E tier. We don't need E tier. So, where's Tree of Might? Here it is. So, Tree of Might's pretty good. I like it because it's, first of all, the main antagonist of it doesn't even learn about the Dragon Balls, and I think that's kind of like fun to be able to have characters, like not every single arc and every single villain is just like, I'm going to collect the Dragon Balls and I'm going to do something despicable and mischievous with them. No, so the whole plot of the Tree of Might is that there are some extra Saiyans out in the world, and this is like that old, like, vicious, like, world-conquering type of Saiyan that I mentioned before. And they, what they have discovered a seed for something called the Tree of Might. And if you plant this on the correct kind of planet, then it will suck up the entirety of the life force of that planet and produce it'll grow a tree called the Tree of Might and produce a fruit. And if somebody eats that fruit, then they become immensely powerful. And so the plot of this movie is that these Saiyans arrive on Earth because it's like the correct kind of planet to grow the Tree of Might, and they're trying to, destroy the planet in order to obtain that fruit. And like, I don't know, I think that's more fun than just, I'm trying to get the Dragon Balls to obtain immortality, which they do like 4 different times. Well, Naruto just kind of ripped that from DBZ. Did they really? Wait, did Naruto do that? Ha! That's pretty funny, actually. So I don't know like anything about Naruto. I'm gonna be real with you. So my big problem with this though is that it goes into that problem of, oh, the character is quite literally, just looks like Goku, but evil. Like, if you know what Goku looks like, here, I'll type in the name of the character in Twitch chat. Or, yeah, no, I don't want to show my Google search history, so we're not gonna do that. So I just typed the name of the antagonist of this film. It is Turles, Turles. If you want to look up that name real quick, you will see that it's just evil Goku. Like, actually. And the explanation for this, there is actually an explanation, is the fact that low-class Saiyans tend to look very similar to one another. Like, they get, like, the same hairstyle, and, like, they look very similar. So the idea is that Turles and Goku are both considered low-class Saiyans. Like, that's why, like, Goku's father also looks exactly like Goku. Well, just, like, way more badass. Wow, our soundtrack on Annie Live died. I just restarted it. Alright. So there we are. See, it's just like, my goodness, it's just Goku. And then this movie, once again, can't be canon because of the same reasons as the previous movie. It would have to take place in a world that's after Goku has effortlessly become a Super Saiyan, and yet he doesn't become Super Saiyan in this movie. Any live streams faster than Twitch? That it is, actually. No, AniLive is basically, like, immediate. I've noticed there's essentially no latency on AniLive, but on Twitch there's a good solid seconds, like some seconds of delay. Which, that's just natural, that's how most streams are. It's actually impressive that AniLive's not like that. So yeah, so... World's Strongest can't be canon because Goku can't become Super Saiyan or anything like that. And then next up we've got... Which, I mean, yeah, just solid movie. Lord Slug, I think, would be next. I've got a lot to say on this one. And actually, I'm going to put Tree of Mine as a solid B tier. Lord Slug, wherever it is. Here it is. Solid A tier. Lord Slug. Okay. Is he an interesting character? No. And in fact, he's literally a repeat of one of the characters from OG Dragon Ball. He's just King Piccolo again. Even to the wish that he wants from the Dragon Balls, which is to become young again. Because he's like a feared, like, individual who, like, used to have large armies of, like, people, and now he wants to conquer the universe, and he's not trying to get immortality. Rather, he wants to become young again, so that way he can, like, have more time to do all of that or whatever, right? It's like, it's very, very similar. They're even the exact same, like, race of people. They're both Namekians, and they look very similar. But the thing... What is the point of the Dragon Balls? So they exist as... I mean, they're just kind of there, and if you bring all seven of them together, then you can have a wish obtained. So you can, like, I wish to become young again, or I wish to have immortality, or I wish that my butt were bigger. I wish for the world's most comfortable pair of underwear. I wish that I could get rid of my wrinkles. You know what's funny? Is that all of those are actual wishes that happen in the canon. Including the butt being bigger one. That's not a joke. Anyways. Wait, really? Yes. Actually, the first wish in all of Dragon Ball is for the world's most comfortable pair of underwear. It's true. It's because the villains have successfully brought the Dragon Balls together. Thought as a referencing last stream. No, I'm not. So the first wish, like, all of the villains have put together the Dragon Balls, and they've summoned the dragon, and they're about to make their wish. And then one of the characters, it's the horny pig that I mentioned from earlier, actually. He ends up, like, he wants to interrupt the wish, and so he just, like, runs up and wishes for something random. And that's what he wishes for, and he gets the world's most comfortable pair of underwear. Yeah, so Lord Slug, the thing that's good about this movie is the fact that it's just unabashedly cool. Like, it's just trying its hardest to be edgy at all times, and I love it. I love it. In the English version of the movie, the soundtrack is just a whole bunch of, like, early 2000s rock music that you would see in, like, AMVs. It literally has, like, Disturbed playing in the background. and all of the dialogue is written like everybody's trying to have the last one liner in a cool like conversation. It's like everybody's doing the thing that's like badasses don't look at explosions, and like put on the cool sunglasses. Everybody's always talking like that the entire movie. All the while you're just getting like really edgy rock music in the background, and then the fights are like really vicious and brutal, and the color scheme is just so unique actually. Like Lord Slug has such a unique vibe, and just like unabashedly edgy, and I love it. Literally inspired edgy DBZ AMV culture on YouTube. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that didn't just come out of nowhere. This whole movie is basically one of those AMVs in its entirety. So that's why I really like Lord Slug. I don't care if the character's not interesting. Like, he's got a good enough design, and the movie knows exactly what it's trying to be, and it just leans fully into it, and I love it. Anyways, next up, we've got the Cooler movie. This is Cooler's Revenge. And the problem with this one is that, there's not a problem. I love this movie. Put it up here. S tier. No, actually, this one, it's very, very, very much nostalgia and, like, big bias. But I'm not letting that stop me. This was my first exposure to the series. Whenever I think of Dragon Ball Z villains, I think of Cooler. He is just, he's great. And best part is, we kind of retain a lot of the similarities to Lord Slug, where, like, the movie's just trying to be really edgy. I actually don't think it's as good at that, but the characters were like, rather the main antagonist is just better, in my opinion. Like, I mean, it's Cooler. Like, if you look up his design, he's just awesome. And I'm not really watching Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z movies because I'm like, I want really interesting, complex, deep characters. Like, no, I want to watch people who look cool, do cool things. And Cooler is just a straight, like, badass. He's just raw, He's one of the only characters to, like, get attacked by Goku's Kamehameha and fly into it. He, like, flies into it and then, like, grapples on him, starts, like, strangling him or whatever. It's like, dude, what a power move. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna dodge your attack. I'm not gonna block your attack. I'm going to fly directly into your attack and attack you through it. Because I just don't care. That's how cool I am. It's like, what? So cool. Anyways, then there was a sequel to that movie, and it kind of sucked. It was really, really, kind of mid, because they made his design a lot worse, and it's nonsensical, and there's no way that he even should have lived the last movie. This is like a solid, like, C tier. And it's only a C tier and not lower, because the fact that Cooler is still the main antagonist, and he's still a badass. So, of course, he still gets points. Let's see, what would be the next one? I guess it would be the history of Trunks. Right? Hold on, I'm looking at all these. No, I think I do need to mention the OG Bardock movie. So, the OG Bardock movie, as I've described, Bardock is the father of Goku, and we get to learn a lot about him, as well as a lot about the history of the Saiyans in his movie, and it's actually really good. Like, my zoomer brain is zooming. Yeah, how so? No, it's actually a really, really solid movie. We've got, like, character development. We've got a really, really strong, like, protagonist. Like, not physically strong, but, like, he's got a great personality, especially because this is, like, that very, like, dark, brooding, edgy, like, not a good person version of Bardock that I mentioned before. So I really, really like that. And once again, he's just really, really cool. We love Bardock. This is another easy S tier. And speaking of easy S tiers, next up we have the story of Trunks, or history, or whatever. If I were to recommend a single Dragon Ball, anything Dragon Ball Z related to watch, I think the history of Trunks very well could be the one thing I would recommend. It is that good. It is. Is it my single favorite movie? No, I'd actually put it in third place. Yeah, third place. But it's just so good. Also, I'm realizing I do need an E tier. So we're gonna make E tier after all. We're gonna move some stuff down. Because I need to start putting some stuff not in S tier. Which, as much as I had to say it, we're actually taking Cooler down. But History of Trunks is an easy S tier. So we get into the background of one of the best characters in all of DBZ, and it's we're gonna pronounce his name Lilma 8. Welcome on in, welcome. So getting to learn about Trunks and seeing where he comes from, like why he is the way he is, and then seeing his transformation into becoming a Super Saiyan, it's so good. He still has the single best Super Saiyan transformation in the entire show, with whenever he transforms into one at the end of this movie. It's so good. It's an emotional story. It's got more interesting characters than like anything else here. Well, Trunks being the interesting character, and there's just so much development. The fights are really good. The antagonists are fantastic. It's actually canon. Thank you for actually making something canon. Oh my goodness. It's just, we love it. And arguably, this movie is more canon than the actual main timeline because there is like time travel involved with Dragon Ball. And this timeline basically covers what happens if there weren't time travel shenanigans. Strength, welcome. I feel like it's been a while. Welcome on in. But I think it's really interesting that we're essentially seeing that movie is what would have happened if there were not time travel intervention in the timeline. And it's really, really good. Next up, we've got, let's see, what would the next movie be? I guess Super 13 would be next? I guess Broly would be around this time as well. Your time for streaming is hard for me to come to. Which, I mean, it's totally fine. It's fine. But, you know, I'm glad we finally caught you. That's actually why I enjoy doing these kind of, like, afternoon. Also, I don't like this song in particular. Sorry, Bardock. Here, we're gonna... Dang, you don't like that one? No, I don't like that one. I'm sorry. There we go. Alright, so... You don't hear anything? Wait, you don't hear music right now? Oh. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. Alright. What movie would be next? Would it be Broly? Or I'm gonna choose to believe it's Super 13. I think they all happen around the same time anyways. Well, if they could even happen on the timeline. So where is Super 13? Here it is. So this movie, it's another one where it's like, it's not trying to be cool. I mean, it's just trying to be cool. It's not trying to be interesting. I don't think it does it as well as something like Lord Slug or Cooler's Revenge, but it's, you know, it's all right. Like, you know, it's got some fun character designs, some nice dialogue. In fact, I remember thinking that this movie was really funny in particular. Like, it's probably the funniest of the Dragon Ball Z movies. Not out of all the movies here, just out of the Z movies specifically. I'd say that the Super movies are funnier. Don't you lecture me with your $30 haircut. Exactly. You understand. You get it. Fantastic line. Chicano Westside, welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. And then Goober King, welcome on in as well. So yeah, Super Android 13, that's like, yeah, it's like we'll put it in C tier, I think. Next up, now we can talk about Broly. I already gushed earlier about how much I love Broly. He just has such a unique way of fighting and a unique presence in, like, the Dragon Ball universe. He's the legendary Super Saiyan. He's just so intimidating. His design is peak. The setting for his movie is really great. What really drags this movie down is the story, because it's just kind of like silly and... Okay, so basically, Broly's father, Paragus, is like, yeah, so there are like 5 movies that all happen generically in the week before the Cell Games. Exactly. It's like, how do they even, like, they can't fit in. They literally can't fit in. No, it's a little annoying. But it's because they wanted to include Future Trunks in a lot of the movies. It's like, if Future Trunks weren't in some of these movies, they would be, I think, far more, like, realistic to actually be able to put on the timeline. But the fact that Trunks is there just ruins it all. Especially if it's like long-haired Trunks, which, like, you know, insinuates that he's gotten out of the hyperbolic time chamber. It's like, my goodness. But the movies benefit from Trunks? That's true. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would rather the movies not be canon and have Trunks than for them to be canon and not have Trunks. Like, I prefer this. But it pains me, right? It's still annoying. Like, why couldn't Future Trunks just have stayed? There you go. Yeah, so anyways, Broly, he's just an absolute monster and a beast of a man, and we love him, and he goes in S tier. His movie goes in S tier. Next up, we've got, let's see. I mean, do we go straight into Broly second? No, BoJack Unbound would be next. That's right. Let's see. So we'll do... Yeah, BoJack Unbound. So, as I mentioned, I thought that the pacing for BoJack Unbound was really, really weak. It was just not good. This movie, at least the antagonist isn't just, like, from pre-existing lore. They actually added lore, because that's the thing. It's like, we don't need another Saiyan as an antagonist, or another android, or another one of, like, Frieza's race. I want to learn more about this universe. And so... BoJack, you know, like, it's got all these space pirates and his little gang. They don't go too much into detail with it, but, like, even the fact it's like, oh, King Kai's planet was actually, like, the prison for this space pirate this entire time, that's cool, that's fun. Like, I like that they added stuff. The action in it was pretty good. It's really, like, the humor in it, especially because, you know, Mr. Satan, which, yes, there's a character in Dragon Ball named Mr. Satan, don't mind that. So, you know... He's good at times, but because this is, like, before the Boo saga, he's kind of at his weakest here. And I know, his presence, and then the pacing and everything, and then the little bits of humor that they did try to have just didn't really hit with me. This is like a D tier movie. So it's like, sorry, I know BoJack Unbound is very, very popular within the community, but I'm just not vibing with it. Echo, welcome on into Annulive. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. So now here, how about we like put these in order? I can really talk about this version of Bardock whenever. For enough, I just like how pretty it is, mainly, and the villain designs. Yeah, I will give the credit for that. Bojack's design is pretty solid, but the pacing just takes me out of it so much. Are you a detective? I'm not any detective. I'm actually the world's 9th greatest detective. Oshin W.D. Whitlock, at your service. But, yes, I am. I'm in fact one of the detectives of all time. Here, I'm gonna order these movies. We'll talk about Bardock next, why not? We'll talk about these two next, actually, why not? We'll separate, that. This will kind of go near the end. We're gonna end on this one. So, let's see. Oh, which one of these came first? Oh, was it Fusion Reborn and then Wrath of the Dragon? No, I think Wrath of the Dragon's the last one. Oh, actually, we'll end on Evolution, why not? And then... Okay, so this is the order we'll talk about them. We're gonna end on the live-action movie. So... let's talk about this Bardock special that came out. It's an extension of this A-tier Bardock film. And, you know, it's pretty good. Or rather, this is pretty good. This special is like, it's okay. Like, it's nothing like spectacular. It's just like there. It's, you know, I'll put it in like D tier. Also, I want to make sure these are all in order. Let's say I prefer that. Probably something like this is how I ordered that D tier. Because it's just the lore that it introduces, or not even introduces, the lore that it explores is just kind of like muddy on whether or not it like could be canon, and it's like people will say it's canon, but it's kind of like, you know, just a weird position. And it's like, I think it would be better if just it weren't canon, honestly, because of Bardock being like the legendary Super Saiyan or whatever. And it's like, well, what happened with Bardock after this movie? It's like, what happens if you send a really powerful person completely out of time and then just never tell us what happened with that? That's kind of questionable. It's probably not canon anymore. Yeah, probably not, with like the new changes that came to Bardock. Like Star Wars, their canon and legends are hard to tell. Exactly. It's like, didn't they just go back and say, oh yeah, actually only the Clone Wars show and the movies are canon? Isn't that something they said at some point? They just said, oh, the comics? Nah. Anyways, the GT movie, A Hero's Legacy. That's gonna be our first F tier, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because in this movie, it felt like nothing happened except we had a really annoying protagonist. That was it. Because this movie is actually the last one on the timeline. It's 100 years after Dragon Ball GT, and we're following Goku Jr., who would be Goku's great-great-grandson, I believe. And he's just kind of like really whiny and annoying, and I didn't like him, and basically nothing happens in this movie. Like, nothing changes. He goes on a quest to obtain a single Dragon Ball, not knowing that he needed 7 Dragon Balls, and he goes to obtain it, and then nothing happens, and then the thing he was gonna wish for, which is for his grandmother to like stop feeling ill, she's fine actually, and she's like, oh, I got over it, and then the movie ends. Like, it's just a whole bunch of nothing. Even like this antagonist of the film, quote unquote, just kind of like shows up. It's just like a random obstacle. It's basically like if they made a level 1 quest in a game, an entire movie, and then made your first bandit encounter that you saw the final boss. That's it. That's this movie. And then you don't even level up to level 2 after the adventure. So I'm not fond of that movie. Next up, we've got Broly's Second Coming. Now, Broly was such a good antagonist that they decided to bring him back. And it's like, did they explain how he came back to life? No, they did not. But it's whatever. It's fine. We get to see different characters fight Broly. I'm not gonna get into my mini rant about something, but there's another rant I could go on with this movie, but it's another thing that could get me in trouble with management. Actually, you know what? No, I'll take this risk because it's really annoying. For some reason, in a lot of these movies, they really like to make like the little boys like pee on screen. Like we'll see them from behind peeing, and it happens like 3 times in this movie, including once on the antagonist. Like, why? Why do we have to see the boys pissing? I don't get it. It's weird. Like, stop. Anyways, besides that, you know, it's whatever. Broly's still Broly. He's still cool. So it's like, I don't know, like C tier. It's like, it's just kind of like, actually no, we'll put it high D tier. Like, it just feels like not very much actually happens, and it's just overall pretty mid. Next up, we've got, Bio Broly. This movie wanted to try to be something cool by introducing Broly again, but putting a spin on him by making him like, you know, it's a genetic monster, and then he gets covered in slime and becomes like a Goosebumps villain. But the pacing is so bad, the story's so bad. All of the characters are all of the characters they introduce in the movie are just really, really annoying, and it's like it completely breaks the lore and the immersion and like the world building, and they win in just a really stupid way. It's just, there's so much to hate about this movie, and it's not even like ironically good. It's like, actually, we'll do Dragon Ball Evolution right now while I'm talking about ironically good. This movie made me laugh while watching it because it was so bad that it went back to being funny, and so I enjoyed Dragon Ball Evolution more than I had any right to, just because of how awful it is. So it's like Dragon Ball Evolution live action thing came out in like the early, like mid 2000s, I think. It knew nothing about Dragon Ball, obviously. Like, it just completely butchered the lore and the characters. But, like, it's funny to quote, right? Like, I've been quoting it because it's just so hilarious. So I can at least put that in, like, E tier. E for Evolution. But Bio Broly, it's not even, like, laughably bad. It's just awful. So we're gonna put that... Do I want to put that at the very bottom? I'm actually not going to put it at the very bottom. I'm going to put Hero's Legacy there because this movie at least has Android 18 in a prominent role, and Android 18 is great. So I'm sorry, Don. I see you say you loved it when you were little because it was emotional, but it's not my preferred movie, we'll call it. And then next up, okay, now we can start having some conversations about all the movies. We've got Fusion Reborn. This movie, its plot is very, very bare bones. I like the fact that they expand on some world building in this one, with like specifically like the afterlife stuff and like the Kais. It's like that's cool. Whatever. 'Cause I really like it when movies expand the world building. The thing I love about this movie is the villain just has such a banger design. His name is Janemba, Janemba, if you want to look him up. He's so... Well, specifically, like, his final form looks so good. You have to go by. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by, Strength. Hopefully, you know, you have a good rest of your day as well. I hope to see you again sometime. Hopefully... You know, I'll stream at a time that works for you. One of these days. Hopefully. Yeah, you go ahead and have a good day, alright? Let's go. We got three bots at once? Oh my goodness, we got three bots on Twitch at once. I'm honored. Four bots? Oh, I'm just getting attacked by the bots. Let's go. All right. So, yes. So Janemba is just really, really cool. That's really it that there is to say about him. He's not really interesting because he like doesn't even speak at all, or he just is like Janemba, Janemba, Janemba. But the way he fights, the way he looks, like that little flares on his attacks and everything. Oh, beautiful. We love Janemba. And that alone, like, I wish this movie leaned more into being just cool and edgy, like something like Lord Slug does. But I'm still gonna put it in B tier with Lord Slug, just because it's just a treat. So next up, we've got Wrath of the Dragon. This movie, I want to like this movie. I really, really want to like this movie. But the problem with this movie is the fact that it's a Dragon Ball movie. It introduces a bunch of world building and some characters that have nothing to do with the world of Dragon Ball. Oh, we got an ad. Rest in peace, ad people. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep going probably. Yeah, rip ads. It's fine. So yes, yes, this movie, it introduces some characters and world building that are really solid. They're really good, and I was really, really enjoying them. And then they're made worse by the fact that it's set in the world of. Yeah, they're just made worse by the fact that it's set in the world of Dragon Ball, and that this day is saved by Goku. Like, even if at least Goku were gone, I think it would be better. Goku's the one who ends up saving the day and everything. It's just like, whatever, who cares? But even the fact that, you got Hirudegarn and Tapion. Who cares? Oh, well, welcome on in, Mothman. I'm glad to see that you care. Yeah, I'm glad I mean, you care about Goku being the hero of Dragon Ball, I see. Nah, I'm talking about the movie Wrath of the Dragon right now. I don't know what I'm caring about. Yeah, I figured. That'd be pretty crazy if you were psychic and just, like, knew immediately by joining stream. It's like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the fact that, Goku is the protagonist of the movie Wrath of the Dragon. And it's like, Tapion is so cool, and Hirudegarn, and you've got, like, these flutes that you play, or, like, there are ocarinas to play in order to, like have this banished being, and then like the being is split in half through like dimensional thing. Like, he's Link. Yeah, it's basically Dragon Ball's version of Link, and it's really, really cool. But it's just not good. Or like, it's not good in the fact that Goku and company are the ones who like save the day and everything. It felt like I was watching a really great movie, and then there was a bad crossover with Dragon Ball. Dude sucks, terrible father, friend, even worse than enemy homie, just pulls up and beat up you and all your homies and flexes and says his homie Vegeta gets a turn. Yeah, actually, no, Vegeta, I mean, not Vegeta, Goku, yeah, Goku's an awful father. I'm just gonna say it. He really, really is. He's like, oh yeah, Gohan, you have fun. You can go fight Cell. Oh, I'm gonna abandon my family and not visit them, and I'm gonna go train this little kid instead. It's like, okay. End of Dragon Ball Z is basically Goku saying, oh, there's this really strong kid. I'm gonna go off and train him. Bye, family. I'm gonna abandon you now. And abandons his wife and his kids and to go train this kid and says, don't worry. Oh, and his granddaughter that he has at this point says, don't worry, I'll come back and visit you. And then he proceeds to never visit them. And what's really bad about the fact that he doesn't visit them is the fact that he has the ability to instantly like teleport to them. It's like, how often would you visit family if you could instantly teleport to them at any time? Probably pretty often, right? Well, we don't technically, we don't know technically that he never visits them. Well, okay, but like in GT, they mentioned that they haven't seen each other, right? In the GT timeline, he doesn't seem to. Got you. Yes, hello. I'm like, I don't know if I can pronounce your name properly. I've never actually heard it pronounced. Oh, don't worry about like bothering or anything. Well, come on in. I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna say, what? Wowie? Are we going with a wowie? Wowie? Wow, you're just not following me. I think I'm following. Oh, never mind. I'm not following you. I thought I was. There you go. Oh, it's wowie. Oh, gotcha. Well, thank you for the follow. Thank you. And thank you for the gift as well. But let's see, to finish up. So yeah, Wrath of the Dragon, it's a good movie that suffers from the fact that it's a Dragon Ball movie. We're gonna put it in high D tier, we'll put it in low C tier, because it's still a good movie. It just really, really suffers from that. Your avatar is pure gold? Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you think so. Since I'm not a Dragon Ball girl, I get lost. That's totally fine. I'm just going on my rants because I want to, really. But thank you for stopping by. I'll make sure to stop by some of your streams. Oh, and by the way, feel free to like DM me on Twitter at any point, by the way. Oh, I think she left. No, it's fine. I'm gonna say, like, she's somebody I want to get to know some more at some point. But yeah, let's see. Oh, now we're on the super movies. The last 3 movies. We get to talk about... So, Battle of Gods. Battle of Gods is essentially the first part of Dragon Ball Super is a retelling of this movie. This movie is just a much more condensed version of that. I thought it was a pretty solid movie. The animation was pretty good. You know, there was a lot of, like, character moments. The main thing that I didn't like about this movie would be the presence of the Pilaf gang, which, if you know Dragon Ball, you know the Pilaf gang, you know, they can be fun at times, but they're just kind of a nuisance in this movie. They're just, like, really minor antagonists at this point that are just annoying and don't need to be around anymore. But then everything with Beerus and Whis, like, Beerus is such a fun, good character. There's a lot of, like, great character interactions in this movie. I would say this is a very, very solid A-tier movie. Like, very solid. I'm even thinking it might even be S-tier. A or S? No, I think we'll keep it at A. I think that's a pretty good spot for it. Resurrection F. Resurrection F, sucks. It's really bad. I don't like this movie at all. I'm trying to remember what all my problems with it even were. There's just so much stuff that just does not make sense. And, like, the humor in it, like, it tries to be funny a lot of the time, and it just falls flat. There's so many, like, inconsistencies. I'm not a fan of Resurrection F. I did not enjoy that movie. We're gonna go ahead and put this at, like, honestly, E tier. get to our finale, and that is Dragon Ball Super Broly. And this one, the placement of it is very easy, and I'll tell you exactly why. It's the best one. It's just number one. It's like, as I mentioned before, I wouldn't call the History of Trunks, I wouldn't call it the best movie, but it's the one single one. If you're only going to watch one movie, it's the one I'd recommend. But I think this one is the best movie. Superhero isn't on here, and if you're curious, I would actually put Superhero at number 2. Oh yeah, I put that in my second place spot. So Broly, I think, is just the new Broly movie is the best, like, Dragon Ball movie, hands down. It's just so good. The animation, Dragon Ball has never looked better. There is no competition in terms of that. Like, you can't beat it in terms of looks. Superhero is also very pretty, don't get me wrong. But this movie, Broly, it's just... the character writing is so much better. The stories are much more interesting. Like, seeing the dialogue and the dynamics between everyone's a lot of fun. And then the fight scenes. Oh my goodness. The fight scenes have never looked better than in this movie. And I'm not exaggerating. It's genuinely one of the best animated movies I've ever seen. So there we are. That would be that tier list. It's so good. Davey, welcome on in. Welcome, welcome. So yes, here, let me zoom out and we'll see the full tier list on Twitch. So there we are. That would be my full Dragon Ball movie tier list. And then Superhero, which isn't on here, I'd put that in second place in S tier. Oh goodness, that was, that only took a few hours to talk about everything that I wanted to. I feel like there's so many more tangents that I could have gone on. I didn't even talk about how much I love, like, Vegeta and Piccolo, and how much I don't know, hate, I don't know, who do I really, really hate far more than I should. I really just went on my tangents about the movies, but you know what I haven't spoken about? I haven't spoken about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the new game that's coming out. Oh, it looks so good. I am going... Actually, with my next paycheck, I plan on pre-ordering the Ultimate Edition of the game, the $110 version of the game, and I am going to be streaming it. I'm going to play that game on stream. Like, probably the day it comes out. I'm going to be real with you. What day of the week is that? And people who pre-order it will have it available on either the 7th or the 8th, I think. So either that Monday or Tuesday, that's, like, before the game releases to everybody, that's whenever I'll be streaming it. It's like, oh, so good. I think the 7th in the evening, my time. Yeah, so I think it'll probably be the 7th for me as well then. Mark Gold, welcome on in. Welcome, and thank you for the follow. Thank you. No, because that game, this last, like, the final roster trailer that came out recently, I was like, what's the word for this? I'll just say, like, screaming out of, like, hype for it. I was like, let's go! Dude, it looks so good. I cannot wait for Sparking Zero. Because it's got just so many characters. In this last trailer, reveal that all of the movie characters are, like, all of the antagonists of these films here, well, most of them, are going to be in that game in the main roster, not as DLC. It's like, yes, thank you. Oh, that's so good. Like, if I wasn't able to play as, like, cooler in this game, I would have been so sad. But now, I'm ready. You're ready for Sparking Zero as well? Good. I cannot wait to stream it for you guys. We're gonna go through, like, the whole story mode. I might even stream it a lot. I'm gonna be real with you. Because I've played a lot of Dragon Ball games throughout my days. Played a lot, well, mainly, like, Raging Blast 2, Xenoverse, and Xenoverse 2. And, you know, I always had such a blast with all three of those. And to know that I'm going to be able to, like, play this, like, this new game that just looks so good, and it treats this franchise and the series with such reverence, with so much attention to detail. Like, which, that's what the Budokai Tenkaichi games are, like, known for. And this game is definitely carrying on that legacy, like, with great pride. I cannot wait to see everything they put in that game. But I will say, I think I'm gonna go ahead and head out. We'll definitely be talking more about Dragon Ball once I get to stream Sparking Zero in just a few weeks. For now, though, I'm finally free of watching the show, so that means I can start watching other shows. Can't wait for those streams. Oh, I'm sure. Like, I can't either. I just want the game to come out already. I'm gonna be real. Yes, I will. What about Daima in a few weeks? I'll definitely be watching Daima. Probably I'll watch each episode as it comes out. I know it's the last piece of, like, Dragon Ball work that Akira Toriyama worked on before he passed away. So that's definitely something, like, even if I weren't interested in it, like, as much as I am, I'd watch it just out of, you know, a way to pay my respects, I suppose. But even still, like, I've got high hopes for it. I know that it's been in the works for a while, that it's already, like, fully animated and everything, so there's not going to be any, like, kind of crunch from what I've heard. So I've got high hopes. I think it's going to be good. Especially because, like, as I mentioned, the last two movies that they put out have been straight bangers. I've got high hopes for the future of this franchise. I think if the team that's behind those movies is able to, like, really lead, like, be at the forefront of the production team, then we could see some really good content coming out of this in the next few years. And I mean, the Sparking Zero is just another sign of that, because that game looks so good. Like, fighting games are a game I feel they're really hard to sell at full game value. Like, even whenever a full game was $60, I feel like fighting games were kind of harder to justify paying a full $60 for. And yet I feel like this game justifies an $110 value. That's how much I'm looking forward to this game, how good I think it's going to be. But we'll get there when we get there. Can't wait to go on that journey with you all. But for now, we're going to go ahead and consider this case closed. Thank you all so much for just letting me ramble, make some tier lists for you guys. Hopefully it was fun hearing me get angry at certain movies and then gush about other movies. Because, oh, like, Broly, it looks so good. And actually, since I still need to prove how good it looks, Haru, I'm gonna send you clips from that movie so that way you understand. Because you're saying you don't know anything. I'll show you what I mean by saying this movie's so pretty. It's so good. And you're, like, the only person here I can DM, and so you're my victim. Get ready. Yes, thank you all so much for stopping by today. And I will see you next time. Alright, bye everyone.